Hey, Jamie, can you hear me? Hey, Joni. Okay. It says that I'm getting a bad signal, but I'm going to try it anyway, and if it gets really bad, then we'll restart. Hey, Sue. We'll wait on a few more people to join. I'm not going to go on camera, guys, because I ran out of time and I did not get my hair done. So, hey, Angela. We're going to try to go over that issue that you had, Angela, too, when we're doing some of this. As a matter of fact, I need to go and see if I can't find some images to work with on that. Now my stream is good. I don't know what was going on there. It was kind of bad, but I was a few minutes early as well. Is it better now, Catherine? No makeup, no pearls, so just me and my glasses, no contacts. It's telling me that it's good. There might be a slight delay, but it just went good a few minutes ago. You might need to refresh. Okay, let me go out and come back and we'll try it again. So you guys come right back. Okay, guys, is that better? I hope. I hope you guys are back. Hey, Dee, can you hear me? I'm just checking to see if everyone can hear me yet. Hey, Joni, can you hear me? Yay! I hope that's better for everybody because I didn't get a bad feed on this one and then it changed to good. It came up good, period. So YouTube must have had a little internet hiccup or something there. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I am going to bring you guys over to the chat. Hopefully you could see that. If not, I really want to bring you over to the project camera and make sure that you guys can see it. Can you guys see the camera here in my hand? This is a Valentine I got from Reese Bruner out of our groups. It's really, really pretty, and I just wanted to say thank you to her for that. It's a really, really pretty card. I hope you guys can see it. Thank you, Reese. I greatly appreciate that. She may not be with us right now, but she will watch the recording. She watches them all. So I just wanted to say thanks. And you guys don't pay attention to my nails. I do have an appointment Friday. Okay, and there's been a lot of questions about these things, guys, on in all the groups. So I thought I would go over them all. Can you guys see all the blades here? There must be a delay. I'm not seeing anyone say anything. Can you guys hear me at all? I don't know why it's doing that, Catherine. It does say I have a good feed and you guys should be happy is what it's telling me. Now it's saying I'm offline. How about now? I don't know what's going on. YouTube must be having some issues because it was fine yesterday and it's showing me that it's good here. Hey, Juanita. That's, hmm. I don't see anything else that I can. It's just really weird. Okay, I've checked everything that I need to check. We may have to restart the whole session if it's going to allow me to. Because it says my live stream health is good, but my live stream is offline. Yeah, it's very bad here too, Angela. I can, you can hear me, Holly, and you can see it fine. Yeah, we went from 60-degree weather, from 30-degree weather to 60-degree weather to snow yesterday and today. I'm going to go ahead and try it because it tells me that it's got a good feed. So I'm going to try this, guys. And if it gets real bad, I apologize. And we will see if there's something we can do on YouTube about it. But it's showing me everything is good here. Oh, wow, that's a lot, Holly. Oh, good, Kathy. Good, good, good. Well, for you guys that is buffering, I'm sorry. I hope it gets better. If not, I understand if you don't stay and you just want to watch the recording. Hopefully everything will straighten out here in a few minutes. I just wanted to go over, I don't know if some of you heard me, but Reese sent me a Valentine's card, Reese Bruner, and I thanked her for that. But there was a lot of questions in the group about blades. So I wanted to go over everything you see here. Everything says Explorer on the packages, but they fit the Maker too, except the rotary blade because of this top on it and this wheel. Hopefully you guys can see that. It might be a little blurry if I get too close. But this only fits the Maker. All the others fit, these four will all fit the Maker and the Explorer. Okay? And if you see them rolling around here and everything, my table's level, but these things have magnets in them, and so they jump around and roll around. This is the pink one. They have color-coded these for us so that we didn't have to have just one housing and kept mixing up our blades. If you'll notice, I've got little things here. These are the regular old blades, and you can use them for heavier materials like craft board and stuff, but they are going to dull very quickly, and they cut deeper on your vinyls and things like that than they should with your Maker and your Explorers. They have a 30-degree angle on them, and it just doesn't cut well for anything other than like craft board and craft cardstock. So those with the gray caps you really don't want. The new ones will say fine tip. Those are, I believe, are the 30-degree blades, but I could be wrong. This is the way it was explained to me, so I'm going to try to explain it to you guys. The ones with the red caps are the old German carbide blades, okay? And they came with a red cap on them. They now come in a gold color like this, and they have a white cap on them. They are the German carbides. So those, you can use this housing in both machines, and if you have one of each, this will help you keep your blades straight to put your premium carbides in this. If you want to use those gray ones, I put mine in the silver one that came in my Maker like this, and I use those up until I run out of them because I had so many of them. I use them on my craft board to keep from dulling my blades so quick. So that's what I use in this. This also fits both machines. This is the bonded fabric blade, okay? And it comes, it's pink, and it has a little pink cap on it, okay? So that's the way that these will come. You can use this blade in any of these housings. This is just going to help you keep it straight. And then the blue caps like this are your deep cut blade. These are the 30-degree angle. These are a 45-degree angle. And these are a 60-degree angle. I'm not sure about this one. So I'm not going to say what degree that is. I don't know. I'll see if I can find out. But this is for bonded fabric. This is just like you have good scissors. You have paper scissors and you have fabric scissors and things of that nature. That's what this is. You don't want to use your fabric scissors on paper, and you don't want to use your paper scissors on fabric. So that's what that's for, and you can see they all have a magnet in it. It's why it's picking up that blade. And then, of course, the deep cut. I don't have any of the new deep cut blades, but they are coming black, and I believe they have a black cap on them, the best I can remember, like this little plastic piece. I think it's black too. So that's going to help you determine. And this is the deep cut housing. If you'll notice, it's shorter, if I can get that to show on camera, than the other blades, and that's to allow thicker materials to pass under it. So it's not much shorter, but it's shorter. And a few of you were having problems in Okay, Angela, the dark blue cover is your deep cut for this black housing right here. The red one can go into the gold or the silver housing. That's your German carbides. You don't have to have the pink one, Holly, unless you want to cut bonded fabric. And that's the fabric. Let me show you. I have a pack somewhere here. It's a heat and bond that you would put on the back of a piece of fabric to make an applique. I thought I had one right here to show you guys, but I don't. I must have moved it. But you iron it onto the back and then you cut the fabric. So the pink is not needed. It's just if you want to keep a fabric blade separate from your other paper blades. Thank you, Jamie. But anyway, I wanted to show you guys how you change a blade. So let me pull this little pink cap off the pink one, and I am going to take this housing, and right here on the bottom is a pin, and you just push it in, and you remove your blade. Let me put this one in and show you. You have your housing, and you're going to push that up, and that blade is going to pop out. I hope you guys can see it. I'm trying to stay out of the light. And then you're just going to slide it out carefully so you don't stick yourself, and pull it out. Then you're going to press the pin, drop it in, and there's a magnet in there, and it's going to suck it down in there, and then you let go of the pin, and then you can put it into your machine. And that's how you change the blade on these. Okay? This one is a little more detail in changing the blade. I have not had to change the blade on my rotary yet. Do not attempt to put this into your Explorer machines. It will not fit. It will not work. You'll mess up your rotary blade. But when you buy the kit for the replacement, you get this little thing with the blade in it and a screwdriver. And I'm not going to replace this because I don't need to replace mine, number one. And number two, Cricut has a video on how to change this blade. You're just going to snap it in the case and take the screw out, etc. And I have preferred that you go by their video and their instruction to do that. Okay? And I just wanted to cover those points with you guys before we got started in Design Space. I'm sorry, Wanda. I know it keeps buffering. I can't help it. I am still showing green, perfect, and everybody should be happy according to YouTube. I'm going to check and make sure that it's not something happening on my end, and so far it's nothing. So I hope that the recording is fine so you guys can play it back. Okay, let's switch over to Design Space. And if you guys have yours open so that you can see it on the side, that's going to be perfect too. And I have the chat up here so you guys can see it on the playback and everything. So the first thing we want to go over is where we left off last time, and that was on uploads. And if you need to upload an image, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go and find your image. And I've pulled up some flower images here. Let's see what'll pop in. And I'm just going to pick this one. This is simple, and we'll bring it into Designs or save it to my computer. And this has got like a clear background. When you see that checked background, you're going to know that it has no background on it. If it has a white background, you'll be able to erase that in Design Space. So let me go ahead, and I've saved that one. And we're going to hit Upload. And then you're going to hit Upload again. And then you're going to browse for your image. And mine is right here. I put it on my desktop. But if you're using Google Chrome, you'll see it down here too. And you just have to bring it up and open it up. So I'm going to browse. I'm going to go to my desktop. And let's see. There it is. Right there. And I'm going to open that. Okay, and you see that it showed a clear background, but when I brought it over here, it didn't have one. It's got a white background. That's okay, Tracy. We got started a little bit late because YouTube was trying to be a pain. I'm glad you made it. Everything will be ready on playback as well on video. And at this point, you have an option to pick simple, complex, moderately complex, or complex. If you do simple, you're going to lose some of the detail of your images. So I always just go ahead and choose complex. That way I don't lose any detail. If you have like a silhouette or one color, simple is fine. You'll lose a little bit of detail and it'll help smooth those out, but you won't lose a lot on those. And then you're just going to hit continue. And notice that I don't have my checkered background here now. So I need to get rid of that by clicking on the wand and then clicking the white background, and it removes that. And then you can click continue and notice the shape. It's not going to recognize this as this on the left is a print and cut. But if I save it as a cut, it's not going to notice all the detail and the color. It's only going to notice the shape. And that's why we remove the background. If I go back and I undo that and I don't remove that background, notice the shape. So when you're doing these, you want to determine what you want and clean it up accordingly. And you can check it and preview. There's a preview button down there as well, right here, where you can preview to see what your cut image looks like. And I say when you're doing these, to go ahead and save them as a print and cut, because you can change it to a cut image in Design Space. So there's really no need. You can upload both if you want, but there's no need. You can save it as a print and cut, and you'll want to tag it and name it. I'm not going to keep this, so I'm not going to go through that. But you'll want to use those names and tags. This is your only chance to do so. You cannot go back later and name them. You'll have to re-upload and do all of that. And then you'll click Save. And once you click Save, and now my internet's going a little slow. Maybe it's the internet itself. That's what I'm thinking. And then your image is going to be the first image here on the left. And you can click on it till you have the green box around it and insert the image and bring it into Design Space. And I do believe it's internet. I think it's going a little slow. And there you have your image. So now you're ready to print and cut or cut it. So that's how you do an upload. You can also upload silhouettes such as these. Let's pick this one. And you see how this is all, it may look blurred to you and some of you, and it may look sharp and clear to others. You really can't tell till you get it into Design Space. So I'm going to save that image and let it download. And then I'm going to come back to Design Space and I'm going to click Upload. Hey Brenda. Glad you made it. And then you hit Browse. And then we're going to bring in that next one. And you can drag and drop if you have it on your desktop. I just have it on a separate monitor, so I'm not doing that. And again, we have this white background we have to clean up. So let's choose Complex, use our wand, and click on it. And you'll have to go in when you have these images like this and clean up all of these areas. So that's why when we tell you sometimes that a JPEG is not clean enough, you need a PNG or an SVG, this is why. And you see how that is? See how sharp and clear it looks over here for print and cut, but how it's all messed up in here? This is why the JPEGs are not favorable for this. They're great for print and cut, but for cut images, they're not great. Am I making sense for everybody so far? If you guys have questions, just ask. You can put them in caps, or Jamie's here, Catherine's here. They can help you answer those. Okay. All right. And let's try one more different kind of image. This is Dreaming Tree, and we always get some freebies and things like that, or this is their new one, the Little Princess House. It's gorgeous. I love it. Love it, love it. I'm hoping some of you guys that got it are going to be posting your photos of it soon. But let's just go and get a free SVG file so that you guys can learn how to do these files. I don't think I have this one. I don't want to sign up. And add this to cart. And then view your cart. And I bet it's going to make me log in. Maybe not. I'm going to proceed to check out. And yeah, it's going to make me log in. I thought I was logged in, but it decided to log me out. Okay. And I want to go to my cart and check out. And then I'm going to proceed. If I need it, if you have a coupon code, you'll put all of that in there. Is it not logging me in? Yes, it did. And it's okay if you guys have my address. That's all right. I don't mind. Place your order. And once you've placed your order, and it processes, now mine's buffering. So I hope yours is doing better than mine is right now. I think it's the internet all over. I think it's just intermittent, happening to all of us at different times. Okay, and once you have it downloaded, you're just going to come in and download your SVG. Okay, and I'm just going to save this to my desktop for now. And I'm on a Mac, so it's going to automatically unzip it. But if you're on Chrome and Windows, down here in the bottom left corner, you'll see it. You just want to open that up. Thank you, Tracy. You'll want to extract it all, okay? And then once it's extracted, you can come over to Design Space, because you're going to right-click on a Windows computer and extract all. And it's going to open it up out of that zip folder onto another folder, wherever your location's at. But I'm going to come over here, back to Design Space, and we're going to get a new project. Let's start a new one so you guys don't get confused. And you're going to click Upload, and browse just like you would with the others. And I am going to go to my downloads, and hopefully it's in there. If I can find it. I got tons of stuff in there, don't I? Did it not unzip for me? Maybe. Holly, can you hear me? Thank you, Wanda. Anyway, it's not. I'm just going to use another SVG because you'll want to go in and get the SVG for that. You'll be looking for one that says SVG. I'm just going to pick one here because I don't know where it went. And then, Kathy, let me check YouTube again if it's happening to all of us. I'm still seeing the stream. It did drop for 1 minute, so I'm going to hold on and wait for you guys. I'm going to give it just a second for you guys to come back. I know, Jamie. I don't know why it just dropped out again. Yeah, it says that you guys are experiencing buffering. Yeah, Patricia, it's YouTube. Is it better now, guys? It looks like it just came back. Yeah, it's YouTube. I was thinking it might be intermittent video, or either our internet's going in and out and buffering, but I think it's YouTube. And I do apologize. I will see if there's something I can do to help that. But on an SVG, once you've downloaded and unzipped your folder, I'm going to continue on and get through this little part at least. You're looking for the SVG in there. That's the one you want. And you're just going to click Open. And this is with anybody on Dreaming Tree or Loves SVG. And it's going to come in like that. You're going to name and tag it. Notice you don't have a cleanup option. That's the difference with an SVG. That's how you can tell. There's no option to clean it up. You're just going to name it, tag it, and save it. And then once you save it, you're going to come in over here. It's going to come in the same place like the others did. And you're just going to click on it. As you see, I've already done this one. You're going to click on it and insert the image. So that's how you do a JPEG and your silhouettes and your PNGs and your SVGs. A true PNG will come into Design Space just like this, not with a white box. I knew that was going to have a white box. That's why I chose that one, so I could show you guys you have to clean them up. Yeah, I'm sorry, Holly. I'm going to see if there's something I can't do through YouTube that can boost that and pick that up for us. I'm going to check it one more time and make sure that it's still good. You might have to exit and come back, Holly. It might help. I don't know. But I'm still, at the moment, getting a green. All right. Let's move over here to the Layers panel on the right. Right here. Oh, good. I'm glad, love. I don't know what your name is. I see I love my two nephews. You might want to refresh, Patricia. Okay, over here in the Layers panel, we have Group, Ungroup, Duplicate, and Delete. We all know what delete is. It gets rid of it. It throws it in the garbage. Duplicate, we know what that is. That's copy. It makes a copy of whatever we have on our screen. If I have a square on my screen, or two, and I select them both, and I hit duplicate, it's going to duplicate them for me. So that's what our duplicate does. What does group do? Group and ungroup. Let's go and get an image that has some groups in it and show you guys what those do. Oh, great, Catherine. Refreshing does help. Good, good, good. I'm going to select a couple of images here, and I'm going to search for a couple. I'm going to search for an apple by typing up here in my search bar. I'm going to get that apple. And if you'll notice, everything I'm selecting is coming in down here at the bottom, so I can pull it all in at one time. And I'm going to go get an orange. That looks more like a peach to me, but I'm going to grab it anyway. And I'm going to get a sack, because I'm going to use Lori Nunemacher's analogy here to show you guys about group and ungroup. And then I'm going to insert them. So group and ungroup, what does it do? If you'll look over in the layers panel, I have this one selected and it's highlighted in the darker gray here. And it's grouped. If I move it, it moves all in one piece together. If I size it, I want to size it while it's grouped, so everything is sized in proportion at the same time. If I ungroup it, then I'm able to move the layers around individually and size them individually. So if I only wanted this piece out of there, I could make that piece any size I want it and get rid of these. But that is what your group and ungroup does. Okay? And that, just so you remember, whenever you're sizing, keep it grouped, just like this one, because you want everything to size together so that it fits together perfectly. If you ungroup and you size, again, when you go to put that together, it no longer fits. Okay? And for some of you who don't know, I'm going to use Lori's analogy here. This is the difference when you're grouping and attaching, okay? If I have a sack and I put that apple and that orange in the sack and I group them, then I can move the sack with the apple and the orange in it anywhere I want to move it, okay? And it's going to remain an apple and an orange because I can ungroup it and take the apple and the orange out of the sack. And that's what grouping does. But if I attach, that's just like gluing or taping them together. I can't ungroup them and I can't get them apart. I have glued that apple and that orange in the bag and they're not coming out. Okay? So that's the difference between attach and group. And I didn't want to go back. I wanted to undo. So just so you guys know, I hope that makes sense to you and explains more about group and attach. Does anybody have any questions now about the difference between those two? If everybody's still with me, if they can hear me. Brenda, they all turned green because instead of grouping them, instead of putting the apple and the orange in the bag, I glued them to the bag. That's why they all turned green. Let me show you again. If I have the orange and the apple and I put them in the bag, then I have grouped them because I put them in the bag. But if I take them and I ungroup them, that means I can take the apple and the orange out, okay? But if I attach them, they're there, they're in there. Oops, I missed some of them. When I attach, they all turn one color. They're orange this time, they were green. And the reason being is whatever color is on the bottom, that's the color they're going to change to, okay? That's the only difference in why it changes one color to the other. But attaching will make them all one piece. Okay? Does that make more sense to you now? Thanks, Tracy. I got that analogy from Lori Nunemacher. She helped me explain that to somebody in the group one day. Okay, Wanda, no, they're not the same. Let me go over it one more time for you guys that were buffering. For you guys who were not buffering, it's okay. We'll take our time and show the others. I have an apple and an orange, okay? And when I group, it's the same as me putting that apple and that orange into the bag, okay? It groups them together so that I can carry my sack and not have to carry an apple in one hand, an orange in my hand, and the bag on a hand. I can just carry the sack and carry the apple and orange with me, okay? But if I attach, I glue them inside the bag. I seal that bag shut and they're not coming out unless I rip that bag apart. Does that make more sense? I don't want to leave anybody behind. I want to make sure that everybody understands. Now with attaching, let me ungroup. When we attach, it doesn't want to, there it goes. We can attach these all day long. And we can come over here and we can detach. If you see at the bottom, attach turns to detach. We can detach those simply by saying detach. Usually, I don't know what I clicked there. So you can just detach them. What happens if you weld? That is now one piece. All of those layers, watch the apple, all of those layers when I weld become one image. And they turn into one image. I cannot unweld. There is no unweld if you notice down here. So once you weld, weld is permanent. So how do we get around that and keep that from happening? This is why myself, Jamie, Catherine, Sue, we all tell you when you're going to weld something like a name or text or something, to duplicate it and hide it. That way you have one to come back to that's untouched. And when you weld this, and then you go and you work with these other pieces and you make 200 clicks and do all this, undo, when you hit undo to unweld, you have to undo everything that you did after you welded to get back to that because there is no unweld. So always make a duplicate and then just come up here and hide your duplicate so that when you weld that, notice that, okay, I want to make a change to that apple, but I can't because I welded it. And if I undo, then I have to undo everything I did to get back to it. And I don't want to do that. So what we do is come over here to the one that we hid, and then we have a fresh one to work off of. And I unhid the back layers, all I did on that. So that is the difference between your welding and your attaching and your grouping and attaching. So I hope that everybody is clear on that. If not, we'll answer your questions in group and here and everywhere else. I just want to be sure that you guys know that weld is permanent and you can't undo it after you've made so many changes. Once you save your project, you go out and come back, it's in concrete. You can't undo it, period. So always duplicate and hide a copy whenever you weld, just in case you're ever going to need it again. Is everybody good on that? All right, let's talk about flatten. Everybody sees flatten over here in the bottom right. When we flatten an image, you notice all the cut lines went away and it changed to one piece. This is for print and cut. So if I wanted, and you can unflatten an image, so there's no worries on that one. If I wanted to put a name with this, I would hit my text and type a name. And then I wanted to make that print on a white square for whatever reason, for a table tent, anything of that nature. I would insert my, oops, I want shapes, not image. I would insert my square, change it to whatever color. White does not print a color. So if I'm using white cardstock or I want to use a yellow cardstock or whatever, I can do that. I'm going to arrange and move that to the back. And now I want to print that, and I only want it to cut out the square. I don't want to cut all my letters. I don't want to do all of that. I don't want it to cut the apple. I just want it to print on there and cut a square. I'm going to select it all and flatten. Then this will go to print and cut. Let me get rid of this. I can hit make it. I love my two nephews. I do not have a Patreon. I do have Facebook. Jamie and Sue and Catherine can post those links for you. There are 3 Facebook groups now. But this is the way that you do this. Now, when you print and cut this, it will print it, and it's going to read these registration marks around the image, and then it's just going to cut my square inside that image. So that's what flatten does. And again, you can always unflatten. But when you unflatten, notice I unflattened and it separated everything, but it's all set to print still. You have to go back in and click on these, go to your layer attributes and change them back to cut. Okay, so if you're ever facing that issue, a few of you were facing that and they're like, I took it all, I unflattened, but it still wants to print and cut. You have to come back in here and change them after unflattening back to cut everything. Because after you unflatten, it's just going to separate them back into layers. It's not going to change it back to cut unless you physically do it. Okay, is everybody good on flatten and weld and attach now? Okay, let's move on to slicing, everybody's favorite subject. Let me just get rid of that. Angela had a project yesterday and she wanted to know how to fix it. So we're going to cover that too, and then we're going to wrap up for the evening. Let me go and get an image. And let's see if there's a wine glass in here. Let's just use this one. This one looks good. And I'm going to insert that. And what she was doing, I'm going to make this a little larger too so that we can all see it well. And I am going to hide everything except the back layer because that's really all we need. I don't even need the writing. We're just going to use this for both analogies and we're going to work with it. When you're slicing, actually I do need those 2 layers. When you're slicing and you have an object and you want to slice this out, say you're making a card and you want to put a glitter layer behind it, and you select them, notice slice doesn't light up. Yeah, Wanda, play with it and just watch what happens. You're not going to hurt Design Space or your computer by playing in it. You don't have to save anything. You can just go in and play. And you'll learn a lot by doing that. But we have this and we want to slice this out of this card, but I have no slice option. I'm selecting them both and I still have no slice option. And you can see what's selected here. You can only slice if you have 2 layers. That is the layer you're going to slice out of, which would be my card here, and 1 layer. But if you'll notice, each one of these, whenever you have the scissors or a color, each one is a layer. So you have to hide some layers and get rid of some layers in order to do that. So now when I hide those other layers, well, actually I have to ungroup them. I apologize. Let me go in here and ungroup, and then I can hide these layers because we don't want these layers in there with us. You're going to select them both. Well, I can't get mine to work. Let's see. I'm holding my shift key and doing it that way. That's why. I have to detach the writing. I'm glad I picked that one so you guys could see that. Whenever you're not getting your slice option, double check your layers panel, look. And that was the issue. If you'll look over here, I'm going to undo that. This was, even though I ungrouped and I hid these were still attached. I have to detach them. So I select on it and detach, and now I can hide the writing portion as well. And now when I select, I have the slice option because the writing option is considered a layer as well. So then when I slice, I have the hole in there now, I have the piece I sliced out and the original image. So whenever you can't get your slice option, there's a reason why. Take a look around and see in that layers panel, why aren't you getting that option? And remember, you can only have 2 layers, the layer you're slicing out of and the image you're slicing with. Okay, and just to cover contour while we're here, let me hide that, I'll just get another square. I have this image here, but I don't want this to cut here in the middle. That's what your contour feature is going to do. It's going to allow you to tell it what not to cut or what to cut. If I don't want that to slice out of those leaves, and I don't want this to slice out of that glass, I can click on those and then close it, and notice that it closed those sections off and it won't cut those out now. So that's what your contour button does. If you want to contour it all out, you can hide all contours, and then it solids it up a little bit. So is everybody understanding contour? It basically erases cut lines. Sometimes, not all of them, but sometimes. Okay, now Angela's project, she had a wine glass, and I'm going to get a couple of shapes here, and she wanted to do a table tent, but she wanted the top of the glass to pop up out of there, and it wasn't working. Split this into 2 pieces by slicing. Let's get this stem a little bit better, like she had it. Right about there, I believe, is where you had it, Angela. I know I got leaves on the bottom of mine, but that'll be okay. And I am going to slice and make that 2 pieces. Get rid of the trash, and now I have that. Well, I'm glad that's making sense to you. Yeah, it's going to take practice. It's nothing that's going to be learned, and you're not going to remember it all overnight, but you have the video to refer back to and the groups to come into and ask us, and we're happy to help. Okay, here's my table tent, and I am going to insert let's make this a 5 by 7 just so we have some measurements to work with. I'm going to unlock it up here. I'm going to change the width to 5 and the height to 7. Okay, And I'm going to use my position tool, and I am going to put it on the 1 inch and the 1 inch marks for the position. That's going to help you with measurements, okay? If you put it all the way up to the top and all the way to the side, sometimes it's hard to get your handles back, okay? And then you're going to come over here to shapes, and you're going to get a score line. And there it is hidden. And let me move that back to the 1-1 spot. I want to rotate that 90 degrees because I want to go across instead of vertically. And I know that that's supposed to be 5 inches wide, so I'm going to change the width up there on size under the lock right here to 5. And I am going to select them both, align, center. Now when I do that and I make this and fold it, it's going to fold perfectly in half. But for a table tent, if you've got names and stuff written on here, sometimes you want that to lean back just slightly so that you can see it from, because people are not going to be sitting down at the table sitting, they're going to be walking by. So you're going to kind of want it tilted just a tiny bit. So in that case, instead of putting my score line on the 4.5 position, I would probably move it up to the 4 position to make it just a slightly, probably not even 4, probably more like 4.25, just to give it a slight tilt and an uneven fold. Okay, and then you would attach it, and that would create your table tent. But we wanted to go a step further, and the way I understood it, she was going to be gluing this piece on here, but she wants this to cut out and pop up when it stands up. But when she goes to cut this, it's going to cut the whole thing. Contour won't work on that. So what we did is we duplicated it, and we changed the size by 1/10 of an inch. Okay, and made it slightly larger. And then we placed this where we wanted it, and we selected both, and we sliced, slicing that out of that hole. Okay, and we're not, don't worry about the things behind there yet. As a matter of fact, we're going to move them. I'm going to get rid of that. We don't need that, and I'm just going to move this over because we can reposition that, not a big deal. I'm going to arrange and move this to the front. So now this is going to cut a hole in there, but this is still going to cut out. How do we fix that? Okay, we're going to position that in there. And in the real world, I would have made sure this was centered horizontally and everything else, but for time's sake today, I'm just going to sit that in there. I am coming over to my shapes, and I am going to get a square, and I am going to unlock it. And I know this card is 5 inches wide, so I'm going to make it 5, just so it's the same width. And I am going to place it on the card, and I am going to align it to the right or left. Pick one, doesn't matter. And we're going to weld. Oops, I missed it. Oh. Let me undo. Want to catch the edge of that other piece, select all 3, and weld. And now you notice this is going to cut out around that edge. And I deleted my other piece that was supposed to be there. Of course, you want to keep that piece to glue on top like you do the stem. And I accidentally deleted mine, so don't delete yours. But you want to have that, duplicate it twice so you have it just in case you delete one. Let me arrange and move that to the back. So when she does her wine glass, and let's just pretend I still have the top of my wine glass that I didn't duplicate, and she can glue that on there, and when she folds this back, this piece here is going to pop up for her. So I hope that that answered the questions on that, Angela. Did anybody else have any Design Space questions or issues they wanted to know how to do in Design Space? Did everybody catch on how to make that pop up? Is everybody still with me? Yeah, Brenda, that's tricky and that's a little complex, but you can do that with just about any image that you want to pop up. And we can help you with that in Design Space in the groups and things like that as well. If you forget, I'll do a short clip of that just so you guys will have it so to refresh by without having to go through all of the Design Space workings too. Does anybody have any questions? Is everybody good? Yeah, Wanda, I'm so sorry. I am going to see if I can't do something on my end to fix that. And I'm going to click on support from YouTube and see if I can't, um, if there's something they can do on their end or if it's something I need to do. Good, good, good. It's a lot of fun. And I'm going to try to go live again tomorrow, guys. But tomorrow is going to be putting together a project. And when I post that live, I am going to include a project link for you guys, and you can cut it, and then we'll put it together in Design Space and on the project camera. Thanks, Brenda. And I hope I covered everybody's questions. Angie, I hope I got you covered on the wine glass tutorial on how to do that and slice it out and keep the half of the cut not cutting. So, what kind of project would you guys like to do tomorrow putting together? Do you want to do a card? Do you want to do something like this table tent? You guys got any ideas about what you might want to do as a project that we put together? Anything 3D or something of that nature? Or do you guys want to learn to do a sign? You guys give me some ideas about what project you would like to do. Okay, Brent. Yeah, Brenda, on that ornament video I have for the box for the disc, if you look underneath in the show more description of the video, there's one for a round ornament, for a 4-inch round. I have one in there for that. It's a different shaped box, but it has a window and everything in it. Oh, great, Wanda. I'm glad. You're still new. I love my 2 nephews. That's okay. We're gonna help you and get you where you need to be. That's why we do the videos. That's why we help and chat. Some of the people won't come to the advanced people who have moved on and know Design Space. They usually won't come to these where we're going over Design Space because they already know it. But I still do them because there are new people every day. You're not by yourself. We're not going to leave you behind. No problem, Wanda. We're not going to leave anybody behind at all. All right, guys. I appreciate you joining me. I thank you for taking time out of your schedule to be here live with me, and I apologize for the buffering issues. Like I said, I think it's on YouTube side or the internet, but I'm going to check and make sure it's nothing on my side because it wasn't doing this yesterday. I don't think that it is, and I haven't changed anything. So I'll work on that. And okay. As a matter of fact, we'll just go ahead and do a box tomorrow, Brenda. I will, the 4-inch round goes together in a couple of minutes. So I will cut one of those and put it together. And then we will do maybe a different type box, and I'll put that together tomorrow because Valentine's is coming up. You guys are going to need a box for your gifts on that. So I'll come up with a box or something that we can do. And that's what we'll do for our project tomorrow. When I post the video and the time that we're going live, I will post the link so you guys can cut it out and you can put yours together with me. You guys have a wonderful night. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys on episode 4 tomorrow. Thank you for helping, Catherine, Sue, Jamie. I appreciate it. You guys are great.